Sports Limelight, episode 48. This one's going to be great. Got my main man, my co-host with the most. On top of it from the word go.
On top of it from the word
towering over competition like Robert Wadlow. Hello, Drew.
Oh, man. Hello, MC Bill. Man.
That's why I don't rap.
Your raps are ill. You came to kill.
Man, you're good too. Hey, wow. So before we get started, I would like to present you on the air here with a piece of memorabilia.
Bill, when I came in the studio today, I did not expect to receive a Sports Illustrated magazine issue January 20th, 1992, with the cover of Thurman Thomas. This is pretty neat. Talking about the Bills back in the Super Bowl.
A good find.
After they blew it against the Giants.
Oh, man. Yep, that was what I resented about on the cover here. It says, Buffalo's back in the big one, and Dr. Z says this time, Thurman Thomas and the gang won't blow it. And if you just read that line first, you'd think, oh, this must have been before the second Cowboys Super Bowl for the Bills, or maybe even the first Cowboys one. This was just Bills-Redskins, so the Bills had only lost one Super Bowl so far.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've talked about before, I hate when that Super Bowl is talked about that way, that the Bills blew it or
Right.
choked, where it's taking credit away from both teams, taking credit away from the Giants for winning it, and for the Bills for their part in what I think was the most competitive and hardly fought Super Bowl of all time.
Right. Well, I think what they are referring to is the Bills were favored by 7 points in that game. So it was more shocking to see them lose.
Yeah, point well taken. A pretty significant favorite lost to an underdog.
Well, now, Bill, if I may present you with something of my own.
Yes.
This past weekend, I participated in my fantasy football draft.
All right.
So for all you those getting geared up for that, I've done it already. So I got drawn with the fourth pick of the draft. So I want to tell you, Bill, that I drafted 2 Giants players.
Okay, I like it.
Third round, I got Ahmad Bradshaw.
And
And
hope he stays healthy.
Yeah, me too. And the 13th round, I got Martellus Bennett.
I feel like that's good value. He can surprise you. He's a pretty good bet to be the starting tight end, or at least in most packages the Giants will run on offense.
Right.
These days, saying someone is a starter doesn't mean as much because you play 3 receivers a lot, or 2 tight ends with the Patriots. So, but yeah, he seems to have potential and a lot more than Bear Pasco would at tight end. So with Eli Manning throwing to him, I think he'll be okay.
Well, I must confess, I was mid-draft when I texted you.
Yep.
And I asked you, is Martellus going to be the starter? And you said he's on his way. So that made me decide who I was going to pick.
All right, glad to help.
Yeah.
Hope it doesn't backfire in my face.
I'm coming for you, Bill. I'm just kidding.
So who did you get with that number 4 overall pick?
Well, the first 3 were Arian Foster, Ray Rice, and LaShawn McCoy, which was what I thought was going to happen. And to preface this, we had a keeper that we kept from last year, and I kept Matthew Stafford. So I went with Calvin Johnson.
I like it.
It's to double up on the points.
Good choice.
If they're healthy and they produce. And then came back around and got Greg Jennings. So I got 2 wide receivers in the first 2 rounds, so I had to get some running backs. So I got Ahmad Bradshaw, and then the 4th round I got Michael Turner.
2 established veterans who you're hoping for one more good year out of before they might break down. David Wilson alternated with Bradshaw today in practice, so in case Bradshaw gets hurt especially.
Right.
Did anyone draft David Wilson?
Nobody did, and I was going to near the end, but I already had 4 running backs. So I heard Bradshaw had like a cyst in his hand or something.
Yeah, he had a cyst on his hand that was burst during the Giants-Jets preseason game.
Well, that's all right, as long as it's nothing with his legs or knees.
Yeah.
So when's your draft, Bill?
My draft is next Wednesday.
Okay. Hopefully we'll get some follow-up on that when you get it.
Any thoughts on the second round of preseason games, Drew?
Oh, man, I wish I didn't have any thoughts, but, man, the Bills didn't like what I saw this weekend against the Vikings. Offensively, another horrible, poor outing by them. Only managing 14 points. Overall, I thought the defense played all right. They were only down 14-22 before the offense threw 2 interceptions that were ran back for touchdowns. So we really need to step up the offense and give the defense a little more help.
Do you see any specific problem areas as far as positions
I just think we need to block better. But once again, it's just preseason, so I didn't really get to watch the game. I just looking at box score and whatnot. But penalties got cut in half, so that's a plus I can take away from that.
That's good.
But in terms of overall production and execution, I'm still not pleased.
Well, 2 more games. Hopefully they get a little crisper.
Yeah. But on the other side, how about your Giants, man?
I liked what I saw from the defense, obviously. When you win 26-3, defense has a big part in that.
Right.
I like the way the youngsters looked. The problem areas are the offensive line and run blocking. They just can't seem to generate any running game so far, especially with Bradshaw just getting stuffed on every run. They've been a little better with David Wilson because he's so much faster and shiftier and can make things happen where there are no holes. But I like they seem to have so many good choices to fill out the receiving corps. I like the rest of the team. They're looking ready to go. Now it's just 2 more games. Don't get hurt before week 1 against Dallas.
Injuries, please avoid them at all costs. Well, averaging 10 points a game in the preseason for the Bills is not going to cut it. Hopefully they improve.
And hopefully they improve so much that we look back at these games and say, I can't believe we were wringing our hands over 2 preseason games.
I know. I'm starting to feel like you were in the middle of the season last year. Here we go.
Am I rubbing off on you, Drew, with this glass half empty mentality?
That's right. I love it when you rub off on me.
Of course, I did just say a couple minutes ago that the negatives of a team that won a game 26-3. So
right.
I've still got that as a part of me as well, as much as you've rubbed off on me to be more positive, which I aim to this year.
Right on.
And I hope you hold me to that.
I
goal.
will. This cup's half full every time I see you.
You're my accountability buddy, Drew. And we'll look ahead to one preseason matchup this weekend, Colts versus Redskins. I've got a post here. I think it looks like it's a Facebook post by the Washington Redskins where they got a T-shirt for sale that says QB Showdown, Luck versus Griffin, 8/25/12.
Wow, are you serious? A preseason game on a shirt?
Wonder how much. Well, according to the team, commemorate their first head-to-head matchup of their young careers with this great T-shirt as the 2 top picks in the 2012 NFL Draft face each other.
Wow, that's
Redskins
amazing.
store, go there.
Hey, do you have your Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger preseason shirt?
Oh, I should have saved that. Or like a couple of quarterbacks who didn't work out. I wonder if they made a Tim Couch, Achilles Smith shirt in Ohio. That'd be awesome.
Or Ryan Leaf versus any quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Well, kudos to the Redskins for hyping up, hyping the fans up and stuff. So is this going to be one of those instances where the fans think the Colts are their rival now?
I wonder. Now, Drew, in a couple of weeks, we'll be doing our preview episode for the 2012 NFL season. But for now, do you have any type of thumbnail sketches?
Well, going back to last year, I didn't actually look at this until after we discussed the second week here. The Bills went 1-3, and they only averaged about 10 points a game in the preseason last year, and they started out 5-2 last year. So, I don't think I should be that worried. But
there you go.
If they can, I know last year they had 7 losses in a row after they went 5-2. So if they can just stagger those losses, around, I think it'll be a good 500, 9-17 possibly.
I like it. If there's time in a couple of weeks, we'll play the win-loss game where you go down the schedule game by game. But for now, I am adding up to a 10-6 Giants season.
Wow, 10-6, huh? Super Bowl champs.
Yep, 1 game better than last year's regular season.
1 game,
hey.
huh? Wow. After that amazing run, you don't think they're going to improve, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's improving in a way, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, that's cool. I can't wait to hear the breakdown next time. Just one more thing I'd like to add about the Bills. Last year they went 1-7 on the road.
Ouch.
So I can't see why they shouldn't improve on that record. So if they win half their games on the road, that's easily 10-6 right there.
Now, do we want to go to top comments of the week?
Next installment here. For those of you who weren't here last week, I enjoy reading ESPN articles, not for the content, but for the comments. Without further ado, let's get this going here. Article earlier this week talked about Michael Vick. I guess he bruised some ribs. They thought it might be broken. Comment down here on the bottom This guy says, sports science should do a segment on how fragile Mike Vick is. And then the guy comments on that comment and says, only 4 psi of pressure will crack Michael Vick's ribs.
Love it.
And then this article here, I'm going to bust out a couple of comments on this one article. Did you know that Nike is selling a new LeBron James sneaker?
I did not hear that.
It's called the James X, and it's going for $300 a pair.
Oh, that's all, huh?
Yeah. So that's all I read about the article. Now the comments down here. One guy says, "Don't wear these while having sex. You won't be able to finish." And then another guy says, "If I wear LeBron's shoes, will they make me go bald and wear glasses without lenses in them?"
NBA players do love that these days. The glasses just as a hipster fashion statement.
Right. And then one more comment on this article. Do you have to buy the D-Wade shoelaces and insoles too, or does LeBron's sneaker actually work by itself?
Yeah.
But so there you have it.
Top comments.
Top comments of the week.
Well, Drew, as we mentioned earlier, in 2 weeks we'll do our NFL preview episode. Next week, how about we do something we've been putting off for a while, greatest baseball players.
Ooh, I like it. Now that the summer is winding down, it's a good place to do it.
Yeah, got to fit it in while it's still baseball season.
Right.
The opportunities will not be there when the NFL begins.
And we plan on having some guests in a couple weeks for the football preview, so tune in for that.
And if I can get in a quick plug for dangerousdollar.blogspot.com, I have a review of the new Offspring album, Days Go By, as well as, of course, Clockwork Angels by Rush.
You guys better read it. It's awesome.
Sports Limelight, episode 48. We'll talk to you next time.
You're welcome.